It's very thin, you see it?
Okay, that's the brush at the very end. Can you put your finger on it again?
Yeah, I'll point to it here. See, it's very thin.
Right.
And it's in a special made holder.
Right.
So that you can adjust the... But here's the next thing. This brush, when we look at it, fits only one segment of the commutator. See, it doesn't even hit the slots.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that between two of these segments in the commutator is just a motor action. Now, the thing about this is that it needed what they found when they took it apart, and these are reconstructions of what they found, that this casing right here had a special wound coil. These were all twisted together in here. And that went on this case. And of course all these wires are because they tried to reconstruct it, but you can see that the case is slotted between these two poles. See here? So it's a split case. And the reason for that is so that the magnetic fields don't interfere on this side, here and here.
So that's the split case.
That's the
where
split.
don't they want the?
Okay, so they don't want these two magnetic fields, these two norths, to interfere out here.
Right.
See? And here, between the souths. All right?
Right.
So this acts on the motor side as a big inductor because this was in series with the motor pulse. And it almost acts like the monopole motor into where the coil becomes and gives you that sharp spike. Well, the next unique thing that's missing from all this is that, and I'm going to erase this. Is that they built their own capacitor, and what Lockridge did, since he didn't have any money, is he would take the copper off transformers, and there'd only be about this much, and then he'd solder this together so that for about 35 feet. And he'd do this twice. They'd get enough copper to get 35 feet, and this was about just a little bit wider than what you see this coil here. So the copper was wound from, it looks like about from where this terminal is to the end case here. And what they would do is they'd put two together, butcher paper in between.
But by butcher paper you mean
Waxed butcher paper.
that they
you
wrap?
get in, yeah.
They wrap the meat in it.
Yeah. And then they would wind this around the case as a capacitor. Now that's a pretty big capacitor, but it charges very fast because it's not a lot. It's just real high voltage. It's like 400 volts. So when you take that 300 or 400 volts and these two brushes hit in exactly two of these commutator segments, the motor spins because of the residual magnetism that's in these coils. So it's actually a series wound motor, And what I mean by series is a coil, commutator, and a coil.